Jump in the bus, cause it's game day. All the boys around, so let's ilche, put on the...
Hey guys, and welcome back to the NRL Fantasy
Hey.
Boys. Today I'm joined with Jeremy, Aiden, Xavier, and David, and today we're going to be covering the halves positions. So I think we should just get straight into it. Nathan Cleary, who wants to take it away?
Yeah, I'll take Nathaniel, my daddy. All right. So, obviously over the last couple of seasons, Nathan Cleary has been a standout in fantasy and by far the most popular position. The only downside with him, or not downside, but he normally starts pretty slow. So you just need to be wary of that and make sure you don't swap him for Nico, because when it comes to the middle of the season and during the end, Nathan Cleary is obviously the man to have. He's owned by just under 54%. His points per minute is 0.85. He's averaged 65 over the last couple of years. And yeah, as I can see, the scores, they're all based between 60, 80, a couple hundred there. But yeah, I reckon Daddy Nathaniel is a one to watch.
100%, man. I think Nathan Cleary is a lock in most sides. I just think that he has the 100 potential, the 90s, the 80s. He's a great player, best player in the league at the moment in real life and fantasy, and I think he's definitely a pickup. Let's move on. Nico Hines. Aiden, you want to talk about Nico?
Yeah, so a potential option if you don't want Cleary. An average of 74 and 69 in 2023 and 2022. I think it's just whether how much Trindle affects him, kicking wise and being the dominant playmaker. But with the Sharks in a better team this year, I expect Hines to do better than he did last year.
Yeah, for sure. And at a discounted price for both Nathan and Nico. I think he's definitely a good pickup as well. It just depends if he's got that 7 role, which I think he will. He should be the main guy in that team. Trindle's good, but I just think Nico is so much better, and they should just give him the ball. Moving on, Jerome Hughes. David, talk us through it.
Yeah, I don't believe they should buy this year, and he's outperformed, you know,
Yeah, do you reckon
from previous
he's peaked?
He's peaked, and I don't believe that he will go back to the form that he had last year.
All right.
But if you want to get him, like, go ahead.
Yeah, no one's stopping you.
Yeah,
I think
but
Jerome Hughes is still a great buy. Like David said, I do think he's reached his ceiling though. That last season was unbelievable from Hughes. But I just think it depends on how Munster goes, because if Munster's healthy for the whole season, then it will probably lower his kicking meters, lower how much he handles the ball. But I still think he's a great buy. Either way, I just think there's better picks, and I think you guys agree with that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Easy. DCE, Xavier, talk us through it.
Yep. For who? DCE?
DCE, yep.
Yeah.
So my guy DCE, probably being his last year. I feel like this guy, he's gonna go all out. I think last year, a couple people were buying DCE actually. I think at the end of the year, probably not at the start.
Yep.
Let's just check his stats. So, sorry guys.
Hey Xavier, and didn't your boy Peter have him last year?
Hey, my boy Peter. Shout out to Peter.
Yeah, shout out to that.
So he averaged
Shout out to Peter.
Yeah. He averaged 53
Nico.
points last year, and he had a pretty low break even. So honestly, he's getting older. But honestly, he's still like in good shape, and he's a good halfback. But he probably will be like the most like dominant like half, other because Luke Brooks is probably like not kicking. Oh, I don't. They don't need them to kick the conversions, but Jelly this year will be doing all the kicking options and most of like all the passing and Luke Brooks comes for ball. Yeah.
Do you think
so
DC will be more influential to Manly rather than Tommy Turbo this year?
it's very controversial. If Tommy Turbo is in his best form, like 2021, then probably take Tommy, but probably DCE only because I reckon halfback's more. Yeah, it's more of an
Fair
impact.
enough.
So,
Easy peasy. Matthew Burton. Jeremy, talk us
Okay.
through it, mate.
All right, so Matty Burton from the Bulldogs. Yeah, he is a very solid choice for anyone out there. I know he is in David's team, and he is a bit of a pod option, being owned by just over 3%. His 2024 average was just over 50, playing half. Leading the Bulldogs next to Crichton, he was a very influential part in their run to the finals. And as the stats here, from round 5 to 14, he scored over 40 in every game. He's also the main goal kicker for the Bulldogs. So if they score a try close, and you know the boot he has, he will kick it. So yeah, I reckon if you're looking for a pod, I reckon your boy Matty Daddy Burden is the option.
100%, man. If you're a believer of the Bulldogs this year, I definitely think Matt Burton can be your guy. With an average of 53 last year, I reckon he can eclipse that. I can see a world where that happens, but I can also see a world where he goes under 50 around that 49, 48 place. But yeah, Matthew Burton, a great player, and he's on the uprise in my opinion.
Yeah, and let me just say something else that I am not a believer in the Bulldogs, so I will not be getting him. So I just want to put that out there to all the Bulldogs fans that
Yeah,
I'm
fair
not a
enough.
believer. Thank
Fair
you.
enough. Moving on, Jamal Fogarty, I don't really think is too fantasy relevant to start the year. I think Canberra have an alright start to the season. I just don't think I think there's better options. Lockie Gavin, same thing. If you're a Tigers man and you believe, if you believe he's going to take up a bigger role than Jerome Luai, then by all means. What was that?
I'm not sure.
No idea.
Yeah, all good. But yeah, by all means, pick up Lockie Gavin. We'll move on. Same as Ben Hunt. I think just to start the season, pass him off. When Ezra comes back, you could potentially think about putting him at hooker. I think he's going to play hooker, right, guys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll just play hooker when
Yeah,
Ezra's back.
absolutely, man.
Yeah, I think he would be a great buy when he plays hooker, but just not yet. Mitchy Moses. David, are you back?
Yeah, bro.
Talk us through Mitchy.
Big Mitchell.
100%.
I do believe that he's a great buy. You know,
Wow.
it's just that. But last year he was he had so many injuries. It's kind of
Pretty
messed
injury
up.
prone, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He played like
Yeah, go on,
yeah.
sorry.
He didn't play like that many matches, but it was still like pushing out 50s, 60s,
Yeah,
which
100%.
could be seen again.
The first couple of matches, Parramatta were winning. He wasn't actually doing that much. He was struggling with a groin and then obviously the toe and stuff like that. But in previous seasons, we've seen what Moses can do. I think to start the season, you'd probably just want to wait. You can even wait probably till after the Origin period, depending on whether he gets picked or not. 700k is a discount for Moses, but we know he can have those 30s in his game, but he also has the 80s and the 90s. So if you're a believer in Parramatta, sure, go ahead, why not? But for me personally, I'll be passing on Mitchell to start the season. Same thing with Dylan Brown. We saw with Moses out last year, he didn't really pick up the role, and I think at 5'8", he can improve on last year. We've seen him up at the 700k range, but I just think it depends on how he goes to start the season, and obviously with all this contract stuff going on, it could depend. It could like mess up his game and stuff like that. So hopefully that gets sorted before the season starts. But 651, not too bad for Brown. I wouldn't say no, but I also wouldn't say yes. Let's go on. Adam Reynolds. Jeremy. Oh no, Xavier. Sorry, Xavier. Talk us through Adam.
Adam. Last year he had a bit of a rocky start, or just in general. with just injuries. But he's a great player, bro. Like he's one of the best halfbacks I've seen. And at the Broncos, his first couple of years, 2020, 2022, and 2023, especially 2022, he was very good. But let's just check his stats at last year. So he averaged 53 points when he did play,
Yep.
and he had a pretty low break even of 54. I honestly think this year he probably will with Ben Hunt, he might share the ball a bit more at the start, but when Ezra I don't know. Honestly don't know how it's going to all work out. I'd probably just wait and see how it all works out between the halves. But overall, like if he's just injury prone. That's all. If he wasn't injury prone, then he would be a good buy. But I'll just probably wait and
Yeah,
see.
especially for that price point.
Yeah.
Yeah, 622k for Adam Reynolds is actually insane to think about. But
Yeah.
yeah, just a bit injury prone. He's getting on now in age. Depends on how the Broncos go, especially with Ben Hunt now.
Yeah.
They're going to definitely share the kicking 50-50, I reckon.
Mm.
But maybe when Hunt goes to 9 and he takes on that full kicking role again, I think he could be a decent pickup depending on how much money he's
Yeah.
made or lost and how he's doing injury wise. Jeremy, Aiden, what are your thoughts?
Jeremy, would you like to go, mate, first?
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, obviously Reynolds has been injury prone over the last couple of years due to his knees, and with the addition of Ben Hunt, obviously he's going to get less ball. And although I reckon when Ben Hunt goes back to hooker, I reckon, and Ezra comes in at 5'8", I reckon it'll be a bit more ball to Adam the same way he's been playing the last couple of years. And yeah, he is a solid choice, but obviously owned by just over 1%, got an average of just under 50 last year. He's a very good pot option for those who are looking for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Reynolds had a 51 average in 2023, which means there is some potential. But between his age and his injury history, and also adding Ben Hunt, I think there's just too much risk and not a lot of reward.
100%. I totally agree with you guys there. Yeah, easy. Moving on. Cameron Munster. Jeremy, talk us through it.
Yeah,
Get your
all right,
boy.
so Cameron Munster, obviously Cammy is a sensational player. I personally don't think his in-game play reflects his fantasy scores. Obviously, he's been a bit inconsistent over the last couple of years. He's hasn't been that injury prone. Last year was had an average of 44, a couple 90s, one or two 60s, and yeah, well, as I can see, it's just inconsistent. Started with the 42, 55, 30, 91, and then back down to 20s and 30s. But at priced at 589, owned by 20%. He is not so much a pot option, but this year I reckon they'll give him some more ball, and he will be a very, very good half option for those looking.
I totally agree with you, man, and I'm going to be starting with him this year. We've seen what he can do in the past without injury-affected seasons. He was up at, 800, 850k just a couple of years ago. At 589k and an average of 44, I think he can eclipse that average, especially in a great Melbourne side. I reckon they're going to win the minor premiership this year. I think he can easily make 100k, if not more, and be a great scorer in your squad. Moving on, Jerome Luai. Aiden, what's your thoughts?
I think we should let Xavier do this.
You reckon?
It's your boy, mate. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, it's your boy, Xavier.
Yeah, it's my boy. Jerome Lawyer playing last year.
Yep.
Obviously, with Cleary, not playing halfway through the year. Big Jerome Lawyer. He didn't actually start as soon as Cleary was injured. He wasn't moved to what's it called, halfback. But
yeah.
eventually, yeah, he was moved to playing halfback. But in his first game, let's just see this. This is crazy. This game, round 11, he had a total of 53 points and yeah, one try, couple line breaks. But the big standout game I saw from playing halfback last year, that gives me a lot of hope for the Tigers this year and needing some actual like an actual decent halfback is his game against the Sharks last year, round 12, 95 points, a try,
Jesus.
try assists, two line breaks, two line break assists, 9 tackle breaks,
Whew.
5 missed tackles, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you
Couple
later.
5 offloads, and I definitely think he will have a lot more like kicking duties than Lockie Galvin. Lockie Galvin's more just like I don't know. He's like
Running half.
he's a running half, not like unlike Jerome Luai. Well, Jerome Luai can play both, but I reckon he's better halfback. But this year definitely I would start with Jerome being so cheap, and a lot of people own him. I think like 20% maybe, probably more. But
Yeah,
with a
about
break even of 44 last year and average 24, like as long as he's break even and he's averaging more than 40 points, and I reckon he's a good buy.
Yeah, awesome. I think he's a great buy as well.
It's either
Moving.
that or Monster.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on, we're getting down to the 550 range for the halfbacks. Scrolling down. Oh, Luke Metcalf. All right, Aiden, you can talk about this one since you gave
Yeah, of course. So Metcalf signed halfback at 441k. I think he's nearly a must-have, and we saw on the trials that he was the ball dominant half over Tamari Martin.
Yep.
He had great kick meters, ran the ball well, tackled well. He got like 40 something fantasy points in like 60 minutes.
Yeah.
With price at 33, I expect him to get around 40, 45, 50 points. So that's around 17 points of value, and I think you can just stick him in.
100%. He
He
also
plays
kicked
the first game.
kicked a 40-20 as well, which is pretty insane.
Yeah. And also doing conversions.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's a great pick as well. Moving on, not so much fantasy relevant, but we'll talk about him anyways. Kyle Flanagan. David, do you want to talk about Kyle?
Yeah. With the departure of Ben Hunt, I believe that he'll be taking a bigger role.
Yeah, I reckon he's going to do the kicking, like all the kicking in general play and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the other Donny,
Lachlan Ilias.
what his name? Yeah. Isn't he playing halfback?
I think it's between the two of them. It's not really confirmed just yet. Lockie Ilias played halfback at South Sydney, but I've been hearing reports that Carl Flanagan has been training as the primary kicker.
Yeah, so if Flanagan is named at halfback, it could be a good pot option,
Yeah, man.
like a cheap.
We also saw that the
Yeah.
Bulldogs, he had certain seasons where he'd get up to the 650, even close to 700k range, playing halfback. That was with the goal kicking though. I'm pretty sure. Obviously, he won't have the goal kicking with Val Holmes, but if he's starting halfback 440k, I don't see why you couldn't take the punt. Yeah, it's up to you, and just wait for trials, I suppose. Moving on.
Yeah.
Will Price. Jeremy, do you want to talk about Will Price?
Yeah, sure. So obviously I don't have much experience owning him, but over the off season he was cementing himself as a starting half, but some recent reports have shown that Fletcher Sharp might get the position over him. But obviously, if he's at 14, if he's starting, he's still a good little.
A good little.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've lost Jeremy. Unfortunately.
Aiden?
I have no
If
idea
he
where that guy
starts,
is.
he'll do a lot of the kicking. And if you're looking for a cash cow, solid bit of a pod, only owned by over 2%. He is a solid option that you could look for.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. You sort of cut out there for a little bit, so I'll just cut that bit out and get the relevant parts.
Oh man.
Alright, all good. Moving on. Let's go. Sandon Smith. Who wants to talk about Sandon?
So Sandon Smith most likely will get the 6th spot with Chad, who does kick a lot. But with Sandon Smith getting 43 in one game at 6 with 28 tackles and 190 kick meters, I think you can just slot him straight into your team. Priced at 250k, I think he's a no-brainer if he starts.
Yeah, I reckon you can even just start him in your team as well. Don't even bother about putting him in the emergency spot.
Yeah.
With Chad
honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Townsend being pretty inconsistent now, bit older as well.
Yeah.
Sandon Smith is going to be looking to make a pretty good resume for himself while Walker's out. I think he's a great option. So does 41% of the app. So no going wrong there, eh? Unless obviously he gets injured, but don't want to wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We'll go on to Jack Cole. Jack Cole. Who wants to talk about Jack?
Aiden?
Yeah, I can, man. Yeah, I can.
Cheers, game.
So Jack Lewis Cole averaged 33.1 last year. So he's oddly priced at 250k.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that is insane. If he starts next to Cleary, I think you can lock him in because he's just that cheap. And he averages 44 at 5'8". So I think if he does start, I think you can just lock him in your team, similar to Sandon.
100%, man.
But yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing little whispers. I'm not going to confirm anything. Little whispers that Jack Cole potentially could get the start over Talangi at 5'8". We just believe that Talangi is more of a fullback than 5'8". And Jack Cole proved himself last year while Cleary was out that he's actually pretty decent. So I reckon you can definitely potentially get the spot. Moving on. We've been hearing reports about Duffy. Tom Duffy. According to
Yeah, I feel my team.
the fantasy god himself, Owen. Who wants to talk about Thomas Duffy?
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, sure, man. After my boy Owen. Yeah, he is owned by just under 9%. Last year, he did not play at all. So, no worries to look at the stats.
Big gulp.
But yeah, from what I've heard with Thomas Duffy, he might get the starting half position, and if not, go on the bench. But from what I've heard in the preseason, he is a very good cash cow if you're looking for someone at 250k.
Yeah, wow. I'm just looking at his Queensland Cup stats right now. Just searched them up. He's got an average of 48.7.
Holy.
So not too bad.
Holy.
Yeah, we've been hearing reports that Clifford is injured at the moment. Is that right, Aiden?
Yeah, I think he's recovering from from surgery. So I think the only way Tom Duffy starts is if Clifford doesn't recover in time.
Yeah.
But I think you can avoid him because I only see him really playing one match.
Yeah, 100%. Even if he does play only like 2 matches, I still think he's an avoid. Because Clifford isn't even injured at the moment. He's just recovering from an injury, so it wouldn't take that long. And for 250k, you wouldn't really expect too much of a price change if he started. So yeah, don't bother. And that's pretty much it, guys. We've reached the bottom. If there have been any players that we've just skimmed over that you'd like more information on, please just drop a comment down below. Let us know. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.